Hello, K100. It's Brian Dunlop from New York Sports Kita. I'm asking Joe, Konnan, and Disco Inferno, which do you prefer? The first 2 months of Cody Rhodes' undisputed WWE title reign in 2024, the first 2 months of John Cena's 17th world title reign. I'd have to agree with K-Dog's and Diaz's assessment last week and leaning more towards Drew McIntyre over Cody Rhodes. Though the American Nightmare does pull in some serious merch numbers. But when it comes to Cody or Cena, I prefer Rhodes' title win at WrestleMania over Bitch Mac John's victory at WrestleMania 41. However, I'm more interested in Cena's title run right now compared to the same time last year with Cody Rhodes on top. That promo Cena can cut on the most recent episode of SmackDown might be one of his all-time best. What say you? P.S. Why is Larry Dallas no longer with AAA? Does WWE President Nick Khan need to make another phone call? Best regards, that's from Brian D. Answer the PS first, Konnan.
Larry Dallas, because what happened was they started to save money. That's the only way I can say it. So they weren't flying people in,
Right.
And
poor Hugo got involved. You got stuck with that too, right?
And then this guy called Joe Dombrowski does a good job, and Larry Dallas, they were like commentating from their bedroom, and it sounded like they were under a bed or something. It was terrible,
It came from mom's house.
Yeah,
it sounds like they're commenting from the mom's basement.
Right. And so then, Larry turned into a pain because he said, I signed this contract and I was supposed to get this much money and I was supposed to do all these shows. And I was, okay, did you sign the contract with me? He goes, no. And I go, okay, was I the one that told you how much money you were going to make? Then go with that guy. Right. Then he went, he talked to the guy, and he couldn't get anything settled, so he came back to me. And I go, bro, I can't help you,
Right.
So he goes, listen. Right. So then he goes, hey, then I'm going to call Dorian. I go, go ahead, which I knew Dorian wasn't going to answer. So I loved when Dorian came up to me and he goes, what's with this Larry Dallas guy? He's calling me all the time.
And you knew how that would turn out, right?
You're welcome, Larry.
Okay, but to answer this question, what we spoke about, I would say we were right. Okay, is that let's go backwards and go back to the Cody, the road to WrestleMania in 2024, right? And we discussed on this show.
You said something that was very right. You said, so, okay, now that Cody wins the title, what are they going to do? And I was more optimistic,
And I said, it's going to be very underwhelming, I bet.
Right.
Bro, we just went through a year of underwhelming TV.
Yeah.
That to the point, and that's what happens when you blow off a big story and the next phase is not, bro, like I said, the best booking I've ever seen booking-wise, okay, is when Ric Flair won that match. I forget who was it against when Terry Funk did the angle afterwards when he was the announcer.
Oh yeah,
and he challenged him, and Terry Funk ended up with Terry Funk pile driving him through
a table. Right.
Yeah. Right, bro. They finished an angle and they started the next angle literally right on the spot.
Right.
And you had another angle that was actually better than the angle before.
Yeah, right. That was after Flair versus Steamboat.
Flair versus Steamboat. Flair was better than Flair versus Steamboat, and Flair versus Steamboat was like months worth of TV culminating that.
Right.
With some great promos.
Bro.
Remember when he said, like, "Go help the missus with the dishes"?
What great TV that was! What great promos! What great matches! Like at the time, you don't know it, but looking back, it was incredible.
And if you remember the basics of the basis of the feud, not only for the title and all, but like when they'd come out and do the promos, Flair would bring out 10 broads with them, right? And then Ricky would come out with his wife, Bonnie.
His wife. And he would want you to help the missus with the dishes. It was a perfect guy, right. So this is what I would say. And we said this last year. I said, bro, like, okay, Cody, everybody's clamoring. Cody needs to win. Cody, he doesn't finish a story. LaGreca, all these. I'm like, okay, what if he wins? Like, do they have anything set up that's as good as him winning the title? They didn't, which is why I think maybe he.
And here's the worst part. You know what's the worst part?
Go ahead.
Rock did all that promoting and coming in, and I'm the final boss, and I want your soul, and all this. Didn't show up at Triple.
That's this year.
Yeah, but we haven't seen him since.
Right. Correct.
Okay?
Correct.
And number two, why was this guy involved if we haven't seen him since either? Travis Scott.
Right. I'm like,
we saw him one time.
What he came out with Rock that time, and then he interfered at WrestleMania. So he did come back at WrestleMania, but not since, right?
Yeah.
Well, let's just call a spade a spade.
Why was he even in this? Okay, Joe, why was he even in this?
No, I'm with you on that.
The 2024, okay, The Rock was invested in everything leading up to that match.
Right.
Okay, he was on TV like 5 or 6 times.
Right. Remember that press conference?
Yeah. The press conference, he was cutting awesome promos on Instagram.
Yeah, he was showing up in his truck.
Showing it, bro. Remember he wasn't even announced for Raw one time, and he showed up in the roof floor at the place.
I think it was California, yeah.
And that's when he took Cody out back and beat and blooded him up, So it was like the story was built up well, and then like he won. It's like, bro, nothing's even come close to the three months they had leading up to WrestleMania 2024 last year.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's why they did like this year. They reconfigured.
You know what I think? What I think? And tell me what you guys think. Now I think, and we've talked about this before, but it's coming back to me. I almost think, okay, Rock wanted to do maybe him and Roman, let's just say, and they went another direction because the fans were clamoring for it, and Rock said, "You know what? I'm out."
Probably. Yeah.
No, we already talked about it. It's my opinion that he got his feelings hurt because they turned down all his credit for 2 straight years.
Yeah, he wanted Cody to turn heel. Remember, he wanted
Cody to turn heel originally, and then he wanted to do they keep shooting his stuff down. And he's like, "You guys, I'll go do movies." Now he's got like 3 movies coming, so he's out of the picture.
Yeah, the Smashing Machine's coming out.
Yeah.
When?
I don't think it's in. I think it's after the summer.
I can't believe he looks a lot like him.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. Baseball season is in full swing, and we're into the home stretch for NBA and NHL playoffs. And there's more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news and scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. With the largest selection of odds on everything from the MLB, NHL, and UFC. And in between games, head over to the BetOnline Casino. All the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino action. So BetOnline, the game starts here. Next from Matthew Ince. Subject is this wise? Konnan, I loved capital letters Worlds Collide, and I'm now officially a full-scale Mr. Iguana guy. And Mr. Iguana must be, this guy's like super over. And Konnan, you were so good
because if you've never seen him,
right?
No, he stands out. Everybody's wrestling. This guy's, bro. He incorporates the iguana in his high spots.
Right.
Okay, so people are like, and kids must love it.
Right. It felt weird getting to hear you actually get to speak without Disco cutting you off. Let's yellow card him. My question is for all 3 of you guys. Since Cody Rhodes came back to WWE, he's mentioned The Rock again in promos and in press interviews. Plus, there's been talk that Booker T has been personally training Travis Scott how to wrestle for a match. Do you think the WWE are making an error by keeping this angle going? I saw Sean Ross Sapp say that Rock might wrestle SummerSlam, but considering his movie schedule, the Scorsese movie, the new A24 cult leader movie, and Moana live action movie, and Fast and Furious 11. The guy has no time and really can't risk any form of injury from a bump. And really, I think people moved on from the idea of whatever the Rock versus Cody angle is. Should WWE just move on from it, or are they right to keep it going? Go to be watching regardless. I'm a mark. But just keep it alive in storyline. That didn't hurt anything. Cody can reference this and can always, they always leave breadcrumbs that you can come back and, pick up along the way. You got any comment on that?
What was the actual question? I'm sorry.
The question is, do you think that WWE make an error by keeping the angle going?
Well, I think that if they're talking about it, something's going to happen, right?
Right.
Maybe he's just taking time off for his movie and the promoting of his movie, and then he'll be back. I just wasn't a big fan of The Rock. Oh, I want your soul. Okay, what does that really mean?
Right.
And so I wasn't, I don't know. It wasn't as good as I thought it would be, but maybe they'll come back with something better.
Right.
Yo, what's up? I just want to thank you guys for watching this clip. Don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And join our YouTube membership for hours and hours of exclusive, unedited, uncensored content. And being a member will help you get involved in our upcoming live streams. Thank you for your support. Thank you for riding with us. I know you got a lot of other podcast choices, be it wrestling or other ones. And thank you for picking us. Boom.